jurisprudence, spirituality and moral development, and so on. Dr. Ghani's publications include Faith, Spirituality and Character, and the Islamic Way of Life. Over to you, Dr. Ghani.
Welcome to this session. This is very easy to understand that what are the principles of good practice at undergrad level, but it has a different level of significance for all of us, particularly for those who are new to this university. FC College has clarity about its direction, its practices, principles, and conditions that support your teaching practice. How to teach, obviously what to teach is your discipline, but how to teach. And this session is in this context. It was a research done in America, you see, in 80s, okay, by Chickering and Gamson. These were the two experts, educationists, researchers, and they had this question in mind, that what practices, policies, and institutional conditions contribute to powerful and enduring learning? Powerful and enduring learning, how to impart this kind of education? This was the question, research question. And they were looking for some practices or policies or even institutional conditions that can support this goal. That if we want to inculcate a highly powerful and enduring learning in our students, what should we do? What practices we do? What conditions we need to create in our departments or in classrooms or in the university overall? So can you please identify some practices of the FCCU that contribute to powerful and enduring learning? If you have done your inventory, you can go for. Good guess. Yes, critical thinking. Okay. What else? Okay, assignments and rubrics. Enduring, powerful and enduring learning. What are some typical practices at FCCU policies in your classrooms? Others? Clearly designed and beautifully designed integrated course outline can be helpful. Yes. Advising. Advising, the process of advising, your facility of advising is also good.
Feedbacks given to students on their works.
Okay, feedback. Good. So some are related to this question, some are not. You have shared some good practices at FCCU here in our university, but specifically for this session, some are related, some are not. What is the first sentence in FCCU mission statement? First sentence. This is a long sentence only, okay? But the first part.
I love serve one another.
That is one, the last one, interestingly, where we concluded. First one. This is Nachi's question as well. Whenever they come for audit and they say that whether your faculty and your students, they are at the same page, they know what is the mission of your institution or not. If I am from Nachi, it will be a very sensitive question that what is the mission of your university and what is the first part of your mission? Check. Again, you say that again.
Create ethical, responsible learners.
Okay. Can anybody make a try? Good try. As university, very best university, that is the vision, not mission. First one is to impart, create, and disseminate knowledge. The first sentence is to impart, create, and disseminate knowledge. We started this university in 2005. We became chartered university in 2004. We started first batch in 2005. And first, we declared that we are a teaching university. So the first emphasis was on, the focus was on teaching. So the then rector, Dr. Peter Armacost, he put a lot of emphasis on teaching, and he declared for the next 10 years, from 2005 to 15, that we will be focusing only on teaching practices. Teaching practices. So he declared, officially declared, that we are a teaching university. At that time, we were not sensitive or we were not conscious about research practices, but teaching practices. Now we are gradually creating a balance between teaching and research. Undergrad is our state-of-the-art program. FC College gives more importance to undergrad than grad or postgrad education. So that is why it is important for all of us to remember that what is the first opening sentence of our mission statement? It's about teaching practices, how to impart knowledge. Impart is purely teaching practice. When we say to create, it means now research starts to create something after research. Dissemination is about conferences, seminars, speeches, podcasts, publications, and research articles. That is how to disseminate to the society or wider world. So first one is how to impart from this side to that side, from teachers to students, how to impart knowledge. So this session is, it was their finding, Chickering and Gamson, when they study the question, how to impart powerful and enduring learning. So their finding was that there are 7 principles of good practice. And most of you are using those principles. Maybe you are not aware of that, or you cannot, at this point, you cannot connect those principles to this mission statement and FCC's conditions for teaching. But I believe that most of you are doing these practices or you are following these principles. The first one is, obviously, there should be student and faculty contact, as someone said, that advising. Not only advising, but more than that, we try our level best to develop that contact between teacher and student and teacher. It is the first practice of undergrad level teaching, which creates good conditions for students for powerful learning and during learning. The second one is cooperation then among students, student to students. Again, I believe that most of you are creating assignments and projects, make some presentations in the class where you make groups or you give opportunity to your undergrad students that they work together. and they learn that social intelligence, team building, cooperation, collaborations, respecting each other, and that is a recommended principle. Active learning. This is also very important that there are some hands-on practices in the class. It is not passive, just lecturing, all the time lecturing for 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 45 minutes, more than that. No. You give them a variety of projects and assignments and practices and handouts and other opportunities where students they take active part in the learning and teaching practice. That is the third one. Prompt feedback. Yes, it was identified that the feedback, not only feedback at the end of the semester, but prompt feedback. Okay. As soon as your students submit their work, okay, you start actually giving them the feedback. Prompt feedback is very important. Okay, not just summative, but formative as well. Time on task. This is the area where usually we feel some challenges. We give students time, for example, a month for an assignment, but it does not work. Perhaps they need lesser time to do that assignment, 3 days, but we give them a month. So this principle says that a very good time management should be practiced. You must understand as a teacher that what amount of time exactly they need for this project. Giving them ample time or sometimes 2 months for an activity which requires just a week, it spoils their habit and it is a practice of bad time management. This practice is about the task. There should be a very good proportion between the task and the time. So time on how much time requires for that task. That is the principle. High expectations, our SLOs, our expectation from students, and the conditions in the classroom, we have to raise the quality bar gradually for the students. And we should try not to lower our time. As recently, even a guide has been shared by the vice rector that even students, if they are having some psychological issues, you are not required to lower the bar of your teaching quality. Rather, you just need to be sensitive about their mental health and giving them the good reference that you should contact your counseling office, this and that. But it does not mean that you are going to give them a good grade and taking more. You are hard that this is the condition of the student, so that's why I have to. No, you do not need to lower your bar of quality. Rather, you have to have the expectation. But otherwise, you can afford them or help them that how to they manage, how they can manage their studies. But my expectation is in the last one. The last but not the least, respect for diversity or diverse talent. You do something in your classes where, and this is also the, it is going to be the norm of the day now that diversity is going to be more sensitive in our classroom or at campus, that there are many students from different types, and gender is an issue nowadays, that how to deal with them, how to call them. So this is also one of the highly recommended principles at undergrad level, that respect for diversity. And now, if you are new to university, you have joined recently, you must understand that this is institutional condition or this is institutional official practice or set of practices. First of all, you all need to understand that we are liberal arts education institution. That is official decision. Number two, we follow Defink's model of course designing. That is also official decision that whenever we design a course, we follow the recommendations given by Defink. Defink's model of integrated course design is our official design. Number three, these 7 principles which we are talking about. These 7 principles are officially adopted here at FCCU by the rector, first rector. He brought these principles to FC College. He recommended and put a lot of emphasis in the first phase of the institution that all teachers are at undergrad level, they must practice and follow these principles in their classrooms, in their practices, in their teaching, and their course designing or whatsoever is relevant to you. So these are 3 important practices and conditions and principles which are officially adopted by FCCU. So you can say, if I ask the same question, the question was discussed or researched by Chickering and Gamson that what are good principles to impart powerful and enduring learning? So your answer should be we at FCC follow these practices and these conditions. First of all, liberal arts education is our whole business about. Number 2 is we design courses as guided by DFIN, and that is a very good operational document, functional document, as compared to Benjamin Bloom. Benjamin Bloom has given very good hierarchy of domains for educational objectives, but he did not guide us that how to design a good course. But it was DFIN who added more values to this practice than these 7 principles. What do you do to promote student faculty relationship or working relationship, not other than that, obviously, academic working relationship, student teacher? What do you do? Could you please share some of your practices? What do you do? How do you practice this principle? Student faculty contact. This is first principle. Okay. Visiting hours. You display your hours. Display, obviously, this principle, practice of this principle starts with the displaying and being available. But even then, sometimes students don't show up. Then what do you do? Yeah, available, reachable. Okay.
Actually, we approach a student and then we try to ask him to visit our office.
Yeah.
Rather-
What do you do to actively approach them?
Maybe after the class, maybe I can stay behind, ask him to talk to me after the class, and then
Do you identify first of all students, those
Yeah.
who are having some problems in learning,
Yes.
and then you encourage them to show up and see you after the class?
yes, consistently if his grades are getting down, so sometimes we get more concerned about it. Sometimes their parents reach out, sometimes they themselves reach out, but mostly students they don't come up front themselves. So we have to identify sometimes. So that's how I try to reach out and ask him if he can visit my office at his convenience.
Okay, thank you. I am interested to know what do you do proactively to maintain this contact.
Sir, I have created WhatsApp groups for my students for different courses, and whenever I forward any message, I ask them to endorse. So
Mhm.
every student do endorse, so I could see that no one. And in one of my welcome note, I forwarded the WhatsApp group link so everyone could join us.
Shahid, you see that even all of us, they create WhatsApp groups, but the underlying principle or the behind this principle, the message is that students feel that they have good contact with the students. Okay, when you read it, that the details of this principle, it says that when some student, maybe there are 30 students in your class, and 5 out of those 30, they feel that I have good contact, good academic contact with such child. Okay. Not only WhatsApp group, but I know him, he knows me, and we are happy family like that. I love you, we love you, we are happy family like that. The contact is actually matters. Contact matters, not WhatsApp group only matters. Okay.
For me, when people, especially in an informal setting, when I see my students outside their classroom standing in a group, I would generally stop with them, talk with them, and often before the class or after the class or out entering the building, whenever I see a group of my students standing, I would stand there, talk to them, and generally what is going on. That is that appreciates them that they could approach me and discuss things. And what I would generally, I would not specifically talk about the content because that is mostly you covering already in the class. Though my interactions are focused on the fact that they should know that I'm approachable and they should be comfortable coming and talking to me. So rather than they stop me, I generally stop around my students and I'm bad at names, but especially if I know the name of the student who's passing by, I would definitely say hello or salam with his name. That positive reinforcement that the student gets that the teacher knows my name. And the 2 or 3 standing, I would not know their name, but the 2 or 3 standing with that person, I could feel that they like the fact your instructor knew this person's name. So that level of connection that is developed there, I enjoy that.
Yeah, that is very good practice.
Yeah.
Rather than being indifferent to our students, we are sometimes very good in the classroom, but out of classroom, we suddenly become indifferent students. They pass by, they are standing there, but we don't say hello to them. If until unless they say that hello sir, how are you doing, sir? We simply pass a smile that okay, I'm good, how are you doing? But if you say that proactively and I take the first step and I say, how are you guys and what are you doing here? And if you know their name, that it feels good.
Well, yesterday I came out and one of them was standing in front of a mirror taking a selfie. And I put my hand around his shoulder and I said, take it now. So,
Yeah, this is what university is actually asking us to create this condition, this culture, and it is powerful. And your students will love their institution. They will start taking interest in their study and in the whole process.
Yes, I do the same practices, but I want to add that in 1 or 2 weeks, I put some effort to remember their names.
Okay, yeah, that's also very good.
And in my 1 to 2 classes, initial classes, I used to ask the students about their habits and their strengths and their interests, so that other class fellows may also know.
Mhm.
So it happens even in my teaching the 9th semester, and most of the students don't know each other.
Mhm.
So this is the practice, and I used to remember their strengths and habits. And when we conversate in informal settings, I used to repeat them.
Thank you. Zenaya, would you share your?
Yes, just quickly, I do things like each semester. So I did started to doing it more actively, like since the last semester. So I have like one like monthly fellowship with my students from all sections. We get together in one place and we share food and we talk about our lives outside academic and we develop this friendship and we do Bible study together, like this thing. And the other thing is over a cup of tea meetups with individuals with my students in the cafe.
Very good.
So I
Well, these are the principles of good practices at undergrad level to help them learn, which is powerful, enduring, long-lasting. And this is the culture, this is the condition which was recommended by the researchers, by Chickering and Gapson. They identified this principle as the first principle that universities must create this culture and this condition in their university or at their campus. Okay, and you are doing, as I said earlier, that most of these practices are already being done by you and you are following. But let's just relate them with the university practices. The second one is cooperation among students. What do you do? Other people, could you please share your how do you create groups and how do you actually create conditions for students when they have the opportunity to work together? Yes, please.
One of them is doing the natural method, like making groups for certain assignments and certain groups, like research groups. But what I do differently is that I create random groups on Moodle. That creates diversity. So, normally students they try to include their friends into a certain circle. Huh? So they want to make groups of their own. But what I try is I randomly generate groups. So they sometimes they are very uncomfortable in the start. But that's the challenge for them. That I encourage them this is one of the skills that you need to overcome, that you need to learn. That social challenge that you need to become, because in a group work, not everybody is going to do work equally. But the most important thing is that how are you going to manage all that? So I think they learn a lot of different skills in that process. Initially, it was hard for them, but then realized that this is going to be a continuation.
So
now
do
they
I.
are
So
okay
do
with
I.
it.
So I do. And when our students they say that, please sir, can I change my group? My friends are there. Usually I say no, that this is a new kind of learning for others. Okay, and it is more significant when you work in a group members of your group.
It increases their interaction a lot. So
Anybody else would you please share your idea that how do you create groups or other assignments where students have the opportunity to work together?
So outside of the class, like biennially, we used to have three events: Lahore Literary Festival, Ink Fest, and Fairs Festival. Yes, I used to encourage my students to join, and I used to be there. Basically. So I used to see that different students are there. So in very next class, I used to ask those who were present there to have a talk of 2 minutes, 3 minutes in class. They do cooperate and they work in a group and they do present.
So sometimes in classes there are some students who are doing relatively better than other students, and there are some students who are struggling in class.
Yeah.
So I have volunteers who sort of volunteer to help students who are struggling in class. So I pair them up, and then it helps both of them. The person who's struggling, they help them cover their syllabus. The one who's doing well, it reiterates the information.
Yeah. So this is most of you are doing contracted and working on so that we are available to our students, but we need to be more proactive. And this is what we are. I believe that all of you are creating and some assignments and projects and giving them the opportunity to work together, even inside the class or outside the class. It does not matter, but it matters that you actually give them the opportunity where they work together. It is also helpful for them for a better learning. The third principle is active learning involving participatory. What do you do? Here, what is your best practice that you would like to share with the house? What teaching method do you apply? Maybe not just lecturing, it is discussion method, it is Socratic method, it is what method?
I usually start on with Socratic method by asking questions and making students predict what's coming up next.
Mhm.
That's why they quickly get engaged.
Mhm.
That really works for almost all of my classes. When they look forward to what's coming up, they stay connected with the entire class. That works for me during my classes and my lessons.
So one area is our teaching style, that our teaching method, teaching strategy, uh, beyond lecturing, question answers method, okay, Socratic technique of challenging their maybe previous understanding of something, what else? Okay. The other could be you create some activities for them where students have the opportunity to do something practical inside the class. So, what is your practice? Okay, more.
So something that I try with nearly all of my classes is that at the end of the class, I do a quick recap where I ask a question about what we did today, and then I ask them to raise their hands. And so then one of the students they give their answers. Sometimes they give answers as the entire class, that also wakes them up because they all say it very loudly. For instance, I was teaching them experimental research, and so I said, "How many groups are there?" They said two, and they said it together. So it wakes them up as well. And then I randomly ask them, "So what are the two groups?" And
Yeah.
so a quick recap where they can actually actively participate and they can come back, because a lot of times after the first 30 minutes, students tend to zone out. So when you take that recap, they tend to, come back and become more active as well.
Here is a term forward teaching usually applied at school level, and they say that a teacher whose teaching style is such a involving that say that. Please, my dear students, are you with me? And after every 5 minutes, that means hello. Yes, sir. As you see that after every 5 minutes, you need to do this forward teaching technique because students start with. Okay, so and you have to hello. Are you with me? When actively involved in your students, not just calling their attention, but also giving them some more meaningful activities and assignments and opportunities. So we recap, with some teaching style, your strategy, your activity.
Sometimes humor also helps. When you see that students are losing interest in the book content, obviously students find it many a times they lose interest in this monotonous form. So if you bring in some humor in the class, they get engaged once again, and then you very smartly bring them back to the content, the boring one. So humor is a good technique to keep students engaged and actively involved.
And you see that when we do active teaching, defect says that it is significant learning. What is significant learning? There are two things which has been recommended by defect. That number one is you actually create a highly energetic environment, energetic, participatory, involving environment in the class. Number two, you set SLOs, goals, which are forwarding looking, future oriented. Okay. Your goals are future oriented. Number two, your class condition and culture is highly powerful, energetic, involving. Then he says it is significant learning. वो आप लोग बता रहे हैं ना? Ah, this is obviously your scale. This is your scale. कैसे करनी है और वही हम बैठ के यहाँ पे इस वक्त थोड़ा ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग कर रहे हैं ये कैसे करनी है.
This is really challenging.
Yeah, this is
The teacher is energetic. It's infectious. The students and the class, the entire environment it shifts. But if you are low on energy, that class is really a flop class. And as a teacher, you know, आज class बहुत down हुई है.
because I was very low on energy and I just could not ignite the interest in the classroom. No one is
Understandable. If you are low, how can you actually create energy?
So you have to take care of ये सारी चीजें इसके लिए I think the most important thing is that you take care of yourself. You take care of yourself. You keep yourself energetic. You take a good cup of tea, a good cup of coffee. You feed yourself बगैर lunch के class में बहुत over feeding ना करें इस तरह भी मत जाए. And you have to be there. You have to make your presence felt in the class.
Yeah, what I would say here that these are 7 principles. You all are not to be very good in all areas. Maybe some practices are yours, and you say that first 2 principles they are mine. I am very good in developing contacts with the so I am student centered. I like working with students. I enjoy talking to them, knowing their problems, helping them. Okay, so maybe that is your area. Maybe this is not your area. You are just a very good at lecturing. Nothing wrong with that even then. If you are a very good speaker, you can talk very good and still you can have their attention. But you have to have some practices, some activities where they also get involved in this process. So these 7 principles are not highly recommended for all to be very good and proficient in all areas, but in some obviously. Okay, then next is prompt feedback. What do you do? What is your practice? Time. Okay. We need to be good. Okay. Feedback. How do you give prompt feedback? Now, this is very important that we do not hold their assignments and quizzes for a long time. Prompt feedback is highly recommended that they know what is their level of learning up till now, wherever they are. And particularly if you have given them some assignments which are due by midterm, okay, by 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th week, it is really very important that they know what is the curve of their progress in this. It is recommended that by midterm or by 10th week of your course, you share their 50% grade up till that point, about 50%, so that they could have the idea where will be the end of their grade in this course, rather than just having everything in our draw and giving them sudden. That is not a good practice. Oh, we have recommended, we have some other recommended practices, and this presentation will be shared with you if you then copy or do something from this recommended list. Time on task. Here, it is very important that how do you use your students' time management? What do you do?
I say I don't take any science.
If you are assertive, then obviously they will follow.
But then when they're sure that you're consistent, then do it the next time.
My question is, do you create assignments? You must calculate that what amount of time required.
I'm giving a reflection these days for one of our courses. So I give them a week to work on that reflection and they have to submit it on the Monday. And so when I say I want to take it after the Monday, so there was one student today who said, ma'am, I've not been able to do it. Can I submit it by 4? I said, yes, the date is the same and so you can, but after today I'm not doing any deadlines. So there was still some margin that I gave to them, but then they were all assured that there will be no certificates except last time.
So my recommendation is that whenever you create some assignment or project or whatever, whatever you give them, first calculate that what is the reasonable amount. It should not be too little, it should not be too much. Then it will spoil their habit that maybe if it's too little, obviously they will be struggling with that. If it is too much, it means they sleep, and after some time they even forget how to do. Mm. Only one night. Then it means they require only one day to, if they can do it. And it means you can give them just 3 days rather than 3 weeks. So maybe then there is a level for us.
I only use Google and I only upload my assignments 4 times. Have an idea that this semester I'm going to get these assignments. I manage my time accordingly. That is number one. Number two, I make it flexible for them to submit their assignment, but I create timeliness as well. So that is what they have in mind. So if they are going to submit it, they are going to ask.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So high expectation, how one percentage, how you put it, high expectation? Is it or clarity or what works here? Okay.
Motivating them.
Accordingly.
Taking expectations very clearly at the when you assign the task. Of the that this is exactly what it should be like.
It should be in your course design, they should be clearly defined
Okay.
and reinforced by you in class as well.
But if I add a new assignment and I give the rubric before I assign the task, with all the expectations, that what is the highest expectation which I have from this assignment. And usually when I hand over the rubric, I discuss it in the classes. That sets the tone of the assessment. And students need to follow.
Good. So last one is respect for diversity. Here, I would say that you need to be proficient in different style of teaching, different methods. You know that how to deliver effective lecture. You know that how to start just question answer, how to apply question answer technique, that how to apply assignment method, project method, different method, and also in your course design, there is a very good balance between examinations and practices and presentations. This is the way where you can entertain all kinds of talents. Some students are very good in exams, but others are not. Those who are not, they should be given equal opportunity to show their talent, and you have for them maybe group works, maybe class presentation. So when you assign marks to your examinations and assignments, keep in mind that there should be equal opportunity for all students to show their talent. Now the test, please. It is the end of my presentation. Now the test. This is a defense model. It is about which is my question is that this symbol is related to which principle? This is defense. Defense says that designing your course creates significant learning. What then which principle applies? Active learning. Active learning. Very good. This symbol. Feedback. Okay. This one. Last one. Respect for diversity. Okay. This one. Okay. This one. High expectation. Very good. This one. Time on task. So the first one was second students.
Expectation. Respect for diverse talents.
Okay. Who developed these principles? A, B, C, D, C, Chickering and Garrison. Then who introduced these principles to FCC?
Peter
Outcome. A. Social intelligence. Cooperation among students, good. Okay, well, thank you very much. I will just say one thing which is very important for your application. That is, yes. If you, this inventory we have shared with you is very important for your number one, for your, you can, whenever you write your annual evaluation, self-evaluation, you can take the benefit of this inventory that I apply this principle in my teaching. So it is about your quality education. You can apply this inventory, okay, to relate to your quality. Why your teaching is very good teaching at undergrad level. So you can pick some ideas from this inventory that I am very good at prompt feedback, I am very good at creating conditions of mutual understanding of students. I do this.
Just examples from the course outline.
Yeah, course outlines. Number three, faculties are, this is also very good for the heads of the department when they write that what are some strengths of this teacher. They also cover that this teacher is very good at creating assignments, are available to students, or and that. So this is institutional policy. You also understand your institution better when you understand these seven principles. That when we say FC College is a teaching university or has been a teaching university, it means you understand what are the effective principles of its undergrad teaching. But thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.